What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Wednesday morning to you, and welcome to this devotional series. So glad that you're here. We're in Mark chapter 4, and we are diving into the beginning of the parables. And so on Monday, we talked about just this kind of broad stroke way of looking at parables, digging deep, asking questions, realizing that life is dynamic, these parables are dynamic, and then yet we need to dig it up and let God speak to us. And so in this opening parable of the four soils, or the four hearts even. And yesterday we talked about how like that first heart was a hardened heart. It was the wayside that had been trampled on to where it was so hard and it just no seed was getting in. So we need to make sure our heart never becomes hard to the Lord or to the things of God. And so let's read the parable though. It says, "Listen, behold, the sower went out to sow, and it happened as he sowed that some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds of the air came and devoured it. Some fell on stony ground, where it did not have much earth, and immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of earth. And when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away." I'm just going to stop there so we don't keep reading the other two hearts and the other two soils and get a little mixed there. This one is what you would call the stony heart, right? Like if you remember, it said that like there's a bunch of rocks, very little earth. So the seed would go in, but because it had no root, it would spring up, but then it would just die out really fast and the sun would scorch it up. This is the heart that I'd like to call the shallow heart. Remember, very little earth. It could take no root. It couldn't go deep. One of the things that you find when you study different trees and different, I was studying one time, there's this great Bible verse in the book of Psalms that talk about how the righteous are like a palm tree. And I remember studying the palm tree, and the palm tree has unbelievably dynamic root systems. I mean, just crazy. And so like certain trees just have better roots. Well, the bigger the roots, the better the roots, the stronger the roots, well, the stronger that tree is going to become. And so what he's saying is he's saying like, hey, be aware that you don't go into an environment and you don't lay down any roots. Because if you don't lay down roots, storms are going to come. The sun's going to get up and scorch you, and then you're going to wither away quickly. And you can see this. I mean, there's such a temptation in life to say, hey, I'm out of here. I'm done. Pastor offends you. I'm done. I'm out of here. Friend offends you. Like, I can't trust him. I'm out of here. Again, something with a boss, a coworker, a spouse even. And our initial reaction is say, I'm out of here. I'm done. And that's what happens if you've got no roots. And so what I need you to consider doing is asking yourself this question: am I truly rooted and grounded in my relationship with God? Am I truly rooted and grounded in my church even? Because that's how, the storms of life are going to come. The sun is going to scorch at some point. The question is not, will life come against you? It's, will I be rooted and grounded when it does? And so I want to give you a couple of different ideas here. Is number one is this: I think to lay down roots, it's something you have to commit to. Like, I have to be committed to this thing. I have to say, hey, look, I am following Jesus no matter how difficult or no matter how hard it becomes. I'm not going to follow Jesus out of a purely emotional decision, right? As a matter of fact, there's a story later in the Gospels where a young man comes to Jesus and is like, Jesus, I'll just follow you wherever you go. And he kind of pumps the brakes on the guy and he goes, hey, calm down. Hey, foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests. I don't even have a place to lay my head. Like, don't make an emotional decision and not really count the cost of how, no, there's going to be sacrifices to be made here to do this and to pull this off. And so don't make that emotional decision. Actually make the firm decision, the rooted decision. Say, I'm committed, I'm locked in. And then go to that next step. So for example, if you want to get rooted into a church, the most important thing that you can do is build relationships, get to know people, connect to people, hang out with people, be in small groups, serve with other people. Because the other thing that we notice too is that whatever you invest in, that is the thing you care about more. And so invest in your church, give of your church, give into your church. And in doing so, you're going to get rooted and grounded. When it comes to your personal relationship with God, there's nothing that to me grounds you deeper than studying the scriptures. I think by being a student of the scriptures, by understanding how dynamic and how beautiful and how wonderful and how divine this book of books is, it just helps you go deeper in your relationship with God. And so just remember, again, the sun is going to scorch. That's inevitable. The question is, am I rooted? Have I made a commitment that says I'm in this no matter what? I'm married to this thing. I am in it no matter what. And therefore, let me build relationships. Let me go deep in the scriptures. Let me do whatever it takes to put down a great root system. So that way, when the storms of life come, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to weather it. I'm going to endure. Can I get an amen? Church, I love you so much. God bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.